Yo, what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. And Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal with some Cherry Gar-See-Yah, given to us by our friends at Ralph Wiley, our favorite plug on the earth, who, as you know, Reefer Madness, the best drug dealer out there. So let's talk about Cherry Gar-See-Yah. Cherry Gar-See-Yah, also known as Cherry Gar-See-Yah, Cherry Gar-See-Yah, or Cherry Gar-See-Yah, is an evenly balanced hybrid 50-50 sativa created through the three-way cross of the mouth-watering black cherry soda, cherry maduro, and mandarin sunset strains. This tasty bud is named for its iconic Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor, thanks to its mouth-watering taste and happy, giddy high. It's almost like having a sugar rush. This bud has a sweet and creamy cherry vanilla flavor that's accented by just a touch of spicy flowers. The aroma is very similar, almost like you're indulging in a little bit of vanilla ice cream, topped with cherries while sitting at the gas station. The Cherry Gar-See-Yah high will hit you soon as you exhale, launching your mind into a high-flying euphoric place that is unfocused and heady. Uh-oh. You'll find that your mind will begin soaring through psychedelic visions, taking you out of this plane of existence. A relaxing body high accompanies this heady lift, keeping you anchored no matter how far your mind flies. In combination, the high is within 24 to 25% average THC level. These effects give Cherry Gar-See-Yah an edge in treating conditions such as chronic stress, depression, chronic pain, headaches, and migraines, and bipolar disorder. This bud has long pepper-shaped bright neon green nugs with thin yellow-orange hairs and tiny milky white trichomes. The effects are calming, euphoria, giggly, happy, sociable, and uplifting. The symptoms it relieves is bipolar disorder, which we talked about BPD last week, so get your hands on this, everybody. Chronic pain.
That's different.
Huh?
You talked about borderline personality
disorder.
Oh,
I did. Yes. This is different. You're right. Yeah. Bipolar disorder. Look at you remembering stuff. Damn, this is we, man. Depression, headaches, and stress. Flavors are berry, cherry, fruity, peppery, spicy, sweet. And the aromas are cherry, diesel, earthy, flowery, peppery, and spicy. So I'm looking forward to trying this strain because when I was rolling it, boy, oh boy, did it smell really, really nice. So thank you, Ralph Wiley, to throw into the cause.
Tastes good.
We had a great weekend because it was the 4th of July holiday. So we had 3 days off. It was different though. Usually here in the States, we usually get a Monday off on most holidays. This was Friday, and I absolutely loved it because just to have that Monday through Thursday work week and then have off Friday, not have to think about work again until Monday was absolutely. I was a little lost though, like not working Friday because you're so used to working on Fridays, but it was very, very nice. Mm-hmm. It was nice to have a 3-day weekend. And Mrs. Weedman and I had our annual July 3rd party, which went off with a bang. Fireworks, weed, food was delicious. Mrs. Weedman, great job on those. Oh my God, Mrs. Weedman made these lemon, what do you call them? Mediterranean potato? Greek potato. Yeah. Lemon, olive oil, and then different types. Lots of garlic and different types of herbs. They were the hit of the party. Everybody talked about your potatoes and how good they were and how they wanted the recipe. And you don't really follow, unless you're baking, you don't follow a true recipe. But you have a recipe, right?
Kind of.
It went out. I'm a dummy.
Oh, no.
I know.
Hold on. We'll set you up, Mr. Weedman.
Thank you.
But you made the savapta cheese amazing.
Thank you.
Those are an uncased sausage. So they look like a breakfast sausage, maybe a little larger, but they don't have any casing on them. And they're a Croatian sausage.
You have to be quick on the grips. You have to be quick on the flip. Yes, right. You have to be quick on flipping them because they can burn real quick.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, everything was good.
Mm-hmm. Different for it was
right there. Words.
It was just different. We usually do the American traditional barbecue. Yeah. We do brats,
burgers, brats.
Yeah. Cheesy potatoes, all that stuff. All the American. This year we did a Mediterranean barbecue. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, I really loved watching people's faces this year come to the house and not seeing the traditional Weedman 420, Mrs. Weedman barbecue. Mm-hmm. It was totally different. And I enjoyed watching people try and have. Now, your family knows cevacepi and all that stuff.
Right.
But a lot of people that we had over didn't know those Croatian sausages. And I tell you what, their eyes were like, these things are amazing.
They were all gone for the
someone
most
came up
part.
to me and goes, what are you fuck cooking, a breakfast sausage? I'm like, motherfucker, you just wait.
Just wait till you try it.
And they came back later on going, where'd you get those at? I said, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Make fun of my breakfast sausage now. Oh man. So it was a great the third. And then we didn't do anything on the fourth, but just eat and listen to the world blow up. I mean, around our
So many
neighborhood.
fireworks.
Oh my God. It was insane.
So many fireworks.
Yeah.
It was great.
insane.
All day. I mean, it was just all day,
till like
all night.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There was fireworks going off. It was crazy
Pretty
how
consistent.
loud. Yeah, it was pretty good. And then Saturday we went to the beach.
Yeah.
Yuki's favorite place on earth, the beach.
Yes.
It was a great day. It was beautiful. Hopefully you all got to enjoy some beach weather or some lake weather or whatever boat weather, whatever you do. And then Sunday we did nothing. It was great. So I enjoyed this year that the 4th was on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Did not want to wake up Monday morning, but it was a very nice 3-day holiday weekend. Did you have a nice one?
Yeah, it was great.
Good. Hopefully everybody out there enjoyed some sun, some fun, and some weed during this 4th of July weekend. And if you don't celebrate 4th of July outside of the States, hopefully you got to enjoy some life and have some fun out there in the world and do some stuff this weekend. So, and yeah, we love it. Ted Lasso. I had to bring this up before I talk about the rest we're going to talk about. I texted it to you. We watched an episode. And if you're not watching Ted Lasso, I highly suggest you do.
Season 2, episode 9.
You knew it because it was that good, right? It was season 2, episode 9. The name of it was Beard After Hours.
So Beard is the assistant coach.
Yes.
That's his nickname.
Yes.
And it was a story of his shenanigans one evening because he's pissed off.
Because the team lost.
Well, yeah, that's a
That's
giveaway.
all right.
But okay.
Spoiler.
you give all the spoilers.
I do give spoilers. T the tech always makes fun of me because you're the worst. I said, why? Because you always give fucking spoilers. I do. I can't help it. But I don't mind spoilers, so I don't care. That's why I do. And someone tells me, like, you're mad I told you. I'm like, no, I didn't see the show, so it doesn't matter
You have
to
a
me.
game for a sports enthusiast. That's a big deal.
Sorry.
Well, anyway, it's just the shenanigans, the things, the crazy stuff that he gets into over this period of time, and then just the way that they all come together, all the different characters on the show.
Oh, so good.
It was just great.
If you have not had a chance to watch that specific episode, there's a very deep meaning in that episode. There's some very good one-liners, and there's a couple different storylines in that show people's true heart and love. It was fucking really good good episode. Probably my favorite so far. Hands down, it moved me with the...
It's just enjoyable
yes.
because it's a feel-good show.
Yes. So I suggest...
And it's not like the norm.
No, not at all.
And not usually... the Great British Baking Show would be our other feel-good show. Mm-hmm. That's always just like such a lighthearted, pleasant show.
It's a
to
great
watch.
show.
Yeah. I think we're behind on this.
No, we caught up. We caught up.
did?
Yeah, we're good. I'm sure the next one will be out in the fall.
There's I think we missed one.
We'll have to check.
We'll check. Okay.
So, where we're going to be at next, July 18th, we're going to be setting up a shop at Canna and Company, and they invited us to the Joe Davis County's first ever cannabis consumption event. Scales Mound, Illinois. Exact bar and location will be shared. It's not out there yet. A double feature cannabis education movie night. 5:30 p.m. doors open with live music by Snakebite Medicine. 7:30 p.m. the first screening and bonfire, and then you can optionally camp if you want. So Mr. and Mrs. Weedman will be out there with Stoney, Tammy, and
Maddie,
Mr. G, Maddie G. And so super stoked. I'm hoping that he gives me some flour. I want to roll his flour. I think it'd be very special. So I know he listens. So I'm going to keep on hitting until next week. But I'm super fired up because it's our first time being so way out west, northwest, and we'll be north of Galena. And I'm looking forward to meeting some new people that we haven't met yet, and shaking hands, kissing babies, and giving lots of hugs
and
joints.
experiencing a new part of Illinois and the cannabis community that's there. That'll be cool.
Yeah, they're very passionate about their cannabis out there. They've been to some of the events here in Chicago that we've been at, Bunch of Stoners, of course, Flower Expo, and they always come and hang out. They always bring fire, and there was just a lot of fun. They're goofballs. They like to dress up. They like to do goofy stuff, and I love them to death. They're a lot of fun. I wish they lived closer because we'd probably all hang out and smoke a lot of weed together. So we're looking forward to this event, Canna and Company. We're looking forward to it. So there's something strange that I always wanted to talk about. I like birds. We've had many of birds in my life. Parakeets.
Yeah.
I've had lots of parakeets. So some of them, from growing up in the Bronx, New York, when I had my first parakeet, all the way to now that we have Vega. Anybody who's watched us on YouTube or maybe heard us in past episodes talk about Vega or seen them on the show or seen pictures of them, but never really realized that they talk.
Mm-hmm.
Parrots, we know parrots talk. We know cockatoos talk, but I didn't realize budgies, parakeets talk as much as they do. Ours does.
Ours talks a lot.
Constantly. He likes to cough.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when Mrs. Weedman's smoking weed and she coughs, and then he'll cough.
Mm-hmm. He mimics my cough. He
mimics
barks.
your whistle?
We have the same whistle that we'll play like Simon says.
Yep.
He'll whistle. I repeat.
Yep.
I'll whistle. He repeats.
Yep.
It's pretty fun. He has I wrote him down one time. I think he had like 23 or 24 different phrases that small short sentences.
My favorite one is, "Hey girl."
Hey girl.
That your sister taught him. And do you want to take a shower?
Want to take a shower? Yeah. And then he says, "What are you doing?
Yeah, what do you do?
You want to go in your cage?"
But he also understands language.
Oh yeah.
He does. He understands language. And like when you ask him if he wants to take a shower.
Mm-hmm. Say, he'll fly over. He knows what that means.
Yeah.
He knows the water's going to go on. If you want to race, he knows what he goes at one end of the counter, and we race to the other end of the counter.
And you count though. You go ready.
One. Yep.
Two,
Ready. One.
Ready. Set. 1, 2, and he whistles at you like.
Mm-hmm.
Psst, psst,
like he's counting with me.
Yes, he counts to 3, and then you race.
And then
and then he goes.
runs.
Yes, and then he wins, and if he wins, you have to give him a kiss.
Yeah,
he waits for the kiss.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking hilarious.
So he understands a lot. He understands. I'll say, "Do you want a treat?" And he'll run over to the corner of his cage and look at the cabinet where the treats are, and wait for me to bring one.
Yep. He also understands music.
Yeah.
What's his favorite song?
Little Birdie.
Yep.
It's an old
Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
It was on how I know the song. It was on Charlie Brown, Snoopy, the Peanuts, and that's how I know it. When Woodstock, the bird was flying, they would sing that song all the time. But there's an artist. You found the song on Spotify, and you started playing that song for Vega, and would sit by the computer screen with his face up against the computer screen and listen to that song.
He loved it.
Unbelievable. So this article I was reading talks about parrots and birds are prolific vocal learners, but do they actually understand the words that you say?
Yeah.
Well, I believe they do.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe our parakeet does for 100%.
Yeah.
Understands his name, especially his name,
He knows who we are. Names.
Paul, Mr. and Mrs. Weedman. I almost said our real names, but you know them. You can look on our website.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. And
we're not that mysterious.
no, we're not. But understands language. So there's parrots in the wild squeak and squawk and whistle and try to communicate with their flockmates. There's highly sociable birds rely on complex communication systems to get food, warn of potential dangers. Research even suggests parrots use signature contact calls to refer to each other, similar to how humans call each other by name. Weird, right?
Yeah.
But when parrots live with people, they don't have flockmates to learn parrot from. Squawk, squawk. But instead, they use highly specialized brains to pick up on human speech. So when parrots talk, do they really understand what they are saying? Or are they just masters of mimicry? I've always wondered this. I mean, I've been around birds my whole life.
No, because most of the things that he repeats are actions, and he's saying it before or after doing it.
Yeah.
So I believe he understands it.
Yeah. But the answer depends on the individual bird and how it's trained. Through research points towards parrots having a surprising ability to understand human speech and use words and phrases appropriately. Birds that are trained appropriately can learn amazing amounts of speech. Irene Pepperberg, a research professor in psychological and brain science at Boston University, told Live Science. Pepperberg has spent her career training parrots to use human language. Her most famous study participant, Alex, the African gray parrot, was known for his prolific communication skills. Alex understood more than 100 words for different objects, actions, and colors. He could count up to 6 and had basic understanding of the concept of 0. When given an object, Alex could identify its color, shape, and material as well as accurately compare multiple objects using like bigger or smaller, same or different.
It's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. Alex was trained using a careful methodology that ensured he would understand specific words applied to certain objects or concepts. But experts say that even everyday parrot can pick up on certain features of human language. They're learning words and phrases, like you said. Aaron Colbert-White, associate professor of psychology at the University of Puget Sound, said parrots can definitely learn words that refer to the real world objects. If you say peanut enough times and you hand them a peanut, just like with a kid, they're going to learn that word label. To test whether parrots really understood the word peanut refers to peanut and not that they just want to be fed any type of food. Colbert said, you can wait until the bird requests a peanut and then hand them a different food. If the parrot knows exactly what peanut means, there's a good chance they'll drop the food that they didn't know what it was or didn't ask for. So Colbert-White said that the type of learning applies more to concrete real-world objects than to abstract words or phrases. However, parrots can pick up on contextual cues related to more abstract words. Sometimes they will use these words or phrases in appropriate ways because they're smart, Pepperberg said. For example, a parrot might learn that people say hello when they walk into the room, and then they start saying hello to greet people. They might not understand the deeper conceptual meaning of the word, but their owner will probably find the behavior entertaining and rewarded by giving them more attention. Parrots from strong bonds with their owners are very responsive to their feedback. So this creates a cycle of reinforcement where parrots learn to use words in correct context. It's funny because Vega, when we walk in from outside, coming home from work or wherever, Vega is where?
He's right at the corner of his cage where he can greet us.
Yes, and
like,
where's
hey,
right where Yuki is too, on top of the gate, waiting for us.
And when we go to bed at night, if we don't, or if really any time in the day, if we are paying attention to Yuki, Vega kind of like squawks out like, hello, and he'll give like a squawk, right? Like, yo, give me some love. Quit spoiling that dog. And same when we go to bed, if we don't say goodnight to him.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He'll squawk.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the ending of this is we treat animals as less intelligent than we are in general, but we expect them to learn our systems. Pepperberg said they spent the last 50 plus years trying to crack the systems without much success. So
I've always talked to our pets like they're humans.
Yes.
And I really think that they understand a lot more than we give them credit for.
Yeah, 100%.
I know Yuki does too.
Oh, yeah. Yuki knows a lot, a credible amount of words.
Yeah. She really understands. It's weird.
Too much.
It's
too
bizarre.
Much.
But not everybody talks to their dog or any pet.
Right.
And so that dog might not follow as many directives.
Yeah.
Right.
It
would learn differently.
Right. Yeah, true. She understands sentences and words, and it's weird. So weird. Animals are so smart. So, and speaking of smart, Mrs. Weedman, why don't you tell us about 8decades.com?
Oh, you want to hear about it?
Yeah.
8 Decades is our cannabis lifestyle brand that Mr. Weedman and I developed. It's my baby. Mr. Weedman has the Weedman 420 Chronicles show.
That's my baby.
Yeah. So at our website, 8 Decades, that's spelled out EIGHT decades.com, you can find Weedman 420 swag.
Hey, thanks.
And you can also find a little bit more about us and our story of creating this brand. And of course, you can shop. So there are also links to the podcast and Last Prisoner Project on there. But we do have some phenomenal products. And I will say that our rolling tray is kind of a one-of-a-kind and a limited quantity.
Yes.
They are stainless steel 16 gauge. It's intended to be your like one and only, your forever rolling tray. Curved edges so your weed doesn't fall off. We have a little scooper tool that has a tamper and a bowl cleaner. We've got ashtrays. We have mirror and violet glass, authentic mirror and violet glass from the Netherlands. That is glass that's infused with special minerals that block out the damaging, harmful sun rays and allow in the UV rays that actually preserve whatever is stored inside. They're also odor proof, and they have our logo on them. So get your flower out of, saran wrap bags and, like yucky
Plastics.
bags that, all the terpenes and cannabinoids are, maybe getting left behind, or some percentage of them are, and put them in a good storage jar. You can throw a humidity pack in there. You can use a metallic Sharpie and write on the side what's inside, so then you don't forget, and you're good to go. They're odor-proof. And they are actually it's a heftier, beefier glass because of those minerals that they add. It actually strengthens the glass. So you can throw them in your bag. I travel with them. Super great.
You travel on
airplanes,
flying? Yeah, because
planes, trains, automobiles, wherever.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, but we've got hemp clothing on there and stickers and tote bags. Pretty much anything for the cannabis consumer.
Yep. Supporting 8decades.com. You support the show, and we keep on doing the show for you every week. So we appreciate the support out there, everybody. Thanks. And we just almost bought a tray. Thank you for buying the tray.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
a
you.
Whole set.
Yep. So, what gives marijuana strains to distinctive smells and flavors? A new scientific review sheds light. Hey, yo, what's up, all you funky flower lovers out there? We're about to take a little nosedive into what really makes your favorite bud smell like citrus, pine, garlic, and straight up gas. So, you've been wondering why the sour diesel hits the nostrils like a skunky truck stop, or why your lemon haze has a sweet citrus punch. Well, scientists dropped a fresh review, and this one lit, my fam. A new study published in Planta Medica is finally breaking down that gives cannabis its signature smells and flavors. And get this, it ain't just terpenes doing all the heavy lifting. Nope, turns out there's a crew of other chemical compounds crashing the party, like volatile sulfur compounds, esters, and even flavonoids. Now, terpenes, we all know them, we all love them. Myrcene being Mr. Weedman's fave, limonene, pinene, the usual suspects. But researchers say we've been giving him too much credit. Kind of like the one friend who brings the lighter to the sesh and thinks they rolled the whole joint. These scientists dug into hundreds of peer-reviewed papers and said, hold up, there's a whole entourage of smelly molecules out there that deserve some love, like esters, which bring the fruity aroma, and volatile sulfur compounds, aka the stank skunk, just in your face going, whoa, giving us that roadkill that we smell when we drive past a skunk, which I kind of like sometimes when I'm driving on a late night road. Kind of wakes me up a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
Not roadkill, but the skunk smell. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Ugh, no, not roadkill. And check this. They even talking about flavonoids like cannaflavins, which can impact taste and aroma, but also have anti-inflammatory efforts. So it ain't just nose candy. It might be medicine. The research also threw some shade at the whole indica sativa thing, saying it's time to focus on less plant and strain names and more on chemical profiles if we want to get serious about effects and flavor. So next time someone says, yo, is this a sativa? You'll be energized. Maybe ask them what compounds are in that flower. Let's evolve the convo. Just like 8 decades, evolve that convo. So whether you're puffing on something citrusy, floral, full of funky cheese, gas, skunk, now you know it ain't just about terps. It's about the whole funky orchestra of compounds. Jam it together in your nug. Science is finally catching up with the stoners already knew. Cannabis is complex as hell, and we love her for it. Stick around. Mrs. Weedman is going to be telling us a little bit more, Mrs. Weedman, on marijuana use tied to significantly higher sexual desire and arousal. Mm-hmm. This is a new study.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
The report, a doctoral thesis out of Queen's University in Canada, includes 2 separate studies, an online survey of 1,547 cannabis users, as well as a 28-day diary analysis of 115 individuals, 87 of whom were marijuana users, while 28 were infrequent or non-users. More frequent cannabis use was linked with greater daily sexual desire, wrote author Kayla Mooney. On sexual activity days, participants reported significantly higher sexual desire and arousal on days they used cannabis compared to non-use days. Across all study days, regardless of sexual activity, participants reported significantly higher sexual desire and lower sexual distress on days they used cannabis compared to non-use days. The study continues, noting the findings could help inform both sex therapy and general psychotherapy. As for the online survey, Approximately half of the sample reported sexual motivations for cannabis use, most commonly to enhance aspects of sexual response, according to the abstract. The new report, which itself calls the relationship between cannabis and sexual functioning complicated, adds to a growing body of research about the subject. For example, late last year, a study found that cannabis-infused vaginal suppositories seem to reduce sexual pain in women after treatment for gynecological cancer. Combining the suppositories with online exercises and mindful compassion offered patients even more substantial benefits. The outcomes favored the combined group. Research said in which sexual function, levels of sexual arousal, lubrication, and orgasm increased, and the levels of sexual pain decreased. Earlier research also found that administration of a broad-spectrum, high CBD vaginal suppository was associated with significantly reduced frequency and severity of menstrual-related symptoms, as well as the symptoms' negative impacts on daily life. As for sexual fulfillment, a separate study last year found that while alcohol might be effective to facilitate sex, marijuana is better at enhancing sexual sensitivity and satisfaction. While alcohol increased some elements of sexual attraction, including making people feel more attractive, more extroverted, and more desirous, people who used marijuana have more sensitivity, and they are more sexually satisfied than when they consume alcohol, authors wrote. A broad scientific review of academic research on cannabis and human sexuality published last year concluded that while the relationship between marijuana and sex is a complicated one, use of cannabis is generally associated with more frequent sexual activity as well as increased sexual desire and enjoyment. This article, published in the journal Psychopharmacology, also suggested that lower doses of marijuana may actually be best suited for sexual satisfaction, while higher doses could in fact lead to decreases in desire and performance, and its suggested effects may differ between men and women. Some advocates have cited the potential for cannabis to improve sexual function in women as a reason to add conditions such as female orgasmic disorder as a qualifying condition for medical marijuana. As for men, the psychopharmacology article noted that study findings are conflicting. Some suggest that cannabis causes erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, and postponed ejaculation, while others claim the opposite. A 2020 study in the journal Sexual Medicine, meanwhile, found that women who used cannabis more often had better sex. Sorry about that. Numerous online surveys have also reported positive associations between marijuana and sex. One study even found a connection between the passage of marijuana laws and increased sexual activity. Yet another study, however, cautions that more marijuana doesn't necessarily mean better sex. A literature review published in 2019 found that cannabis's impact on libido may depend on dosage, with lower amounts of THC correlating with the highest levels of arousal and satisfaction. Most studies show that marijuana has a positive effect on women's sexual function, the study found, but too much THC can actually backfire. On the surface, this type of research may seem quirky, one of the authors of that study said, but the psychological aspects of sexual function, including how we think about our bodies, our attraction to our partners, and our ability to connect to people intimately, are all important to psychological well-being in sexually active adults. So that's
It's pretty positive.
Yeah, it's very positive.
Good news.
And I can agree with that. I mean, I think that just the way that it makes, generally speaking, when you are a comfortable cannabis user, you understand how it makes you feel, and you know strains and ways to consume that you don't deal with paranoia and that kind of thing. It's exactly the opposite. Oftentimes, cannabis makes you feel less inhibited, just like alcohol.
Right.
But you don't have the sloppiness of alcohol.
Sloppy drunk sex.
Yeah. That's the word.
Sloppy.
Sometimes it was fun, right? Sloppy.
Oh, I will say this weed, spot on the right to the head.
Can't see so good.
But it went right to my head.
Yeah.
I
Right
mean,
to my
it's
head.
like, whew,
Yeah.
I feel it all up here. All the blood just flowing right now. All
My
in the,
eyes
in
feel
the
like
brain.
they're crossed.
You can crush your eyes pretty good.
And they might get stuck.
That's only if someone
That's how I
slaps you in the
feel.
back.
No, that's just how I feel.
That's how you feel. 8 in 10 marijuana consumers use it as a substitute for prescription drugs, new survey finds. What's good, all you lovely stoners, burners, and potheads out there in the weed sphere universe? I'm coming at you with another tasty nug of cannabis news, and this one's got me feeling some type of way. So dig this. A brand new survey just dropped from the NCIA, that's the National Cannabis Industry Association, and it shows what we've all been saying in our own ways for years. Weed is medicine. I've been saying something different, though. What have I been saying? There's angels in those leaves. Why do you laugh when I say that? Because it's the fucking truth. And it'll set you free. According to the poll of nearly 1,800 adult cannabis consumers, 8 in 10, 80% said they've used marijuana as a substitute for prescription drugs. That's pain meds, anxiety meds, sleep pills, you name it. And people aren't just dabbling either. 51% of them fully replaced at least one medication with cannabis. Huge. And you know what else? It ain't just about pain. Top reasons folks said they're making a switch includes help with anxiety, chronic pain, depression, and insomnia. The big hitters of everyday mental and physical health. Even more dope, around 40% of consumers said they started using cannabis instead of alcohol. That's good. So we're just not talking about prescription bottles. We're talking about beer cans and liquor bottles too. People are looking for healthier choices, and Mary Jane is stepping up like the queen she is. Now listen, Mr. Weedman here ain't no doctor. I do know a couple of doctors, though. You know who my doctors are, right, Ms. Weedman?
Proctor.
That's your doctor.
Vinny Boombats.
And who's the other one? Quack in the Bush.
Quack in the Bush.
Dr. Quack in the Bush. He's my favorite doctor.
How could I forget?
But I do know that when the plant gives you relief without a laundry list of side effects or the late night pharmacy runs, that's what it's talking about. And the folks over the NCIA, they're saying there's proof that cannabis is playing a serious therapeutic role, even in states where it's only recreational. Imagine that. The survey also calls out a big issue. The stigma and lack of access are still holding people back, even with legalization in a bunch of places. Folks still face judgment, job threats, or straight up confusion about using weed instead of pills. It's wild out there, folks. This right here is why the work continues. We fight for education, safe access, and federal reform. Why shows like this exist, and people, journalists, other podcasters, radio hosts, because we've got real people out there getting real results. Not only just as medicine for the plant, but also people speaking the truth about the plant. And we all deserve to be heard. So light went up for all the cannabis warriors out there making the switch, taking control of their health, and trusting the plant. We see you, and we salute you. But I do have to say something, because I do listen to other people that have tried and used cannabis, either tried it a few times, thought it was going to help and it didn't, or people that had used it for years and it's now they can't use cannabis anymore. It's not working for them anymore. And here's what I have to say. I'm sorry that the medicine didn't work for you. And there's many people out there that I see that it didn't work for them. And I'm going to apologize because I feel sorry for them. You know, I wish it did help, but there's something out there for you instead of a bottle, a pill bottle, you know, or hard stuff. You know, there is medicine out there. There's homeopathic medicine out there for everybody.
But I also think like some of those consumers that consume for so many years and had just like maxed out their endocannabinoid system.
Oh, probably.
If they've been away from it for a few years, I challenge them to give it another try.
Yeah, and I've talked to a couple people that did though, and it didn't. It still made them. It still gave them. It had a reverse effect. Their paranoia went through the roof. Their anxiety went through the roof. They got headaches.
Did they try to take like an old kind of? That's my thing. Like, do they reintroduce it at like 5 milligram doses or like? One puff of a joint?
No, I asked this person. If
they didn't go back in like they smoked yesterday.
No, I think they started slow, but I just think it didn't work. You can burn. You can get burnout.
You can. Yeah.
So we have talked about that.
Pace yourself so you could have a lifelong relationship.
I know. Like some people say, like I used it so much where it didn't help the pain anymore.
Yeah.
But how much are you using? I mean,
right. That's what I'm saying.
If you're smoking
like,
if you're smoking from the time you get up, from the time you go to bed, all the time, I mean, eventually anything you take is not going to work anymore. It's just like eating the same food every day for 50 years. You get tired of the food. So it just, I pray that hopefully one day it could help people again with it. If not, there is a homeopathic way out there for you, though. There is. Just might not work with your endocannabinoid system, cannabis. So hopefully you find something that works for you. Cannabis oil, though, might help with drug-resistant epilepsy. Yeah. Study suggests.
This is a big one.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
A case study of 19 individuals with drug-resistant epilepsy who used cannabis oil found that the median duration of seizure freedom after starting treatment was 245 days. 5 patients remained continuously seizure-free for more than a year. The study was published in Frontiers in Neuroscience. Epilepsy is a chronic neurological disorder marked by recurrent, unprovoked seizures caused by abnormal electrical activity in the brain. It can result from genetic factors, brain injury, infections, or sometimes from reasons that may remain unknown. Seizures vary widely in type and severity, ranging from brief lapses in attention to full-body convulsions. Treatment typically involves anti-seizure medications, which help most people manage their seizures effectively. Some individuals also benefit from dietary therapy, nerve stimulation, or surgery. However, for a significant minority, standard treatments fail to adequately control seizures. When seizures persist despite at least 2 appropriately chosen and adequately trialed anti-seizure medications, the condition is classified as a drug-resistant epilepsy. Study author Frank Yizhao Chen and his colleagues conducted a retrospective case series examining seizure outcomes after patients with drug-resistant epilepsy began treatment with cannabis-based medicinal products in oil form. The study included 19 individuals selected from a pool of 174 patients with drug-resistant epilepsy. All were treated at North Toronto Neurology, an outpatient neurology clinic in Toronto, Canada, through the clinic's medical cannabis program. Each patient received authorization for medical cannabis use from the program's neurologist. The program begins with an educational session and initial consultation. If the patient is deemed medically suitable, meaning they do not have unstable cardiac, renal, hepatic, or psychiatric conditions, they are authorized to use cannabis oils in accordance with Canadian medical cannabis regulations. The treatment protocol consists of 5 phases. It begins with cannabidiol only, or CBD-only oils, with doses gradually increased until their seizure control is achieved or side effects become problematic. If CBD alone does not lead to sufficient improvement, delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, is added while reducing the CBD dose. Patients are monitored regularly and treatment is adjusted based on seizure response. Researchers tracked seizure frequency before, during, and after cannabis oil treatment using patient or caregiver-reported logs. Results showed that 11 patients achieved seizure freedom without requiring changes to their initial cannabis oil regimen. An additional 7 patients became seizure-free within 1 week of starting treatment.
That was big.
Yeah. 4 patients required the addition of THC to their CBD-only regimen to achieve seizure control. The median duration of each patient's first seizure-free period was 211 days, with a range of 90 to 412 days. In total, the median cumulative seizure-free duration across patients was 245 days. 5 patients achieved seizure freedom for at least 1 year. That's huge. 5 patients were treated with CBD alone, while the remaining 14 used a combination of CBD and THC. The median CBD dose for the CBD-only group was 6.8 milligrams per day. That's kind of low.
Very low.
While those using both CBD and THC received a median CBD dose of 7.58 milligrams per day. The median THC dose was 0.31 milligrams per day. Overall, 90% of patients reported improvements in quality of life. Among patients who were not continuously seizure-free but remained on cannabis oil, their monthly seizure frequency dropped by 69% compared to baseline. The results of the study support prioritizing CBPMs, or cannabis-based products for medicinal use, in cases of drug-resistant epilepsy. It also supports research into identifying clinical and biological biomarkers for DRE cases that may achieve seizure freedom under CBPM treatment. Lastly, the study supports improving the accessibility of CBPMs, using seizure freedom as a primary outcome in future CBPM epilepsy trials, and assessing the role of THC in reducing seizures, the authors concluded. The study highlights the potential of cannabis-based medicinal products to induce long-term seizure freedom in some individuals with drug-resistant epilepsy. However, it is important to note that this was not a controlled experimental study. There was no placebo group or blinding, and the findings rely on observational data. As such, it cannot be confirmed that the observed improvements were solely due to the cannabis treatment. Nonetheless, this is positive news for seizure patients.
That's great news. That was big stuff right there.
Yeah.
Big stuff. I mean, keep on doing that good research. Not the bad stuff about heart and trying to now say CBD is. There was an article. I don't even want to play into it or read about it. I just read the whole thing. I was reading about it, and they were saying that CBD now can cause issues too at mild doses. I'm like, get the fuck out of here! Jeez. Come on now. There's a new hot flavor though right now in cannabis for this summer. It's summertime only. So coming in hot with a tasty little trend brewing in the cannabis world this summer. And let me tell you, it's about to flip your flavor game upside down. Edibles have been becoming mainstream, from Gen Z using them to manage anxiety to boomers using them for pain management. Soccer moms and baseball dads taking one when they get home instead of drinking a beer or a bottle of wine. They are now part of the majority of people's lives. Gummies make over, ready for this whopping number, 85% of the edible market.
Wow.
Gummies.
85%
of the edible market. But can you guess the hot new flavor of the cannabis this summer, Mrs. Weedman?
Tell me.
Might be watermelon. Could be blue raspberry. Could be raspberry. Do you know blue raspberry is not even a real flavor?
Not, yeah.
Something created. Just learned that. Strawberry, maybe, you think? Have been some of the key flavors in the edible market. But this summer, there is the most new taste that's going to chill in your mouth. Guess what it is, Mrs. Weedman?
Tell me.
There's an old joke, remember? Aren't you glad you didn't say banana again?
Banana?
Nope, orange. It's taking center stage in the cannabis world. Quickly becoming...
Good. Orange is good.
I love orange. Quickly becoming a must-try flavor of the season. From citrusy sativas to tangy vape carts and edibles, consumers are reaching for strains and products with bold orange notes that promise both flavor and effect. What do you like, though? A chocolate-covered orange.
Oh, yeah.
You
Dark
love those.
chocolate.
You get them at...
I have some.
I know you do.
I can eat those tonight.
Oh, that's a good one. Strains like orange creamsicle, tangy, which we love. I love tangy, and clementine are flying off dispensary shelves. Praised for the uplifting energetic highs and zesty terpene profiles. You do like citrusy flavored weed. You're like into that right now. Fruity. The fruitier the better. Yep. The dominant terpenes like limonene and myrcene not only offer mood boosting benefits, but also deliver the unmistakable sweet tart aroma reminiscent of fresh oranges and summer sunshine. There was what was that strain that Big Earl grew? Like right around the first, like second or third time he came by, oh man. That orange. Remember we would just open the jar. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'll have to ask Big Earl what the name of that strain was again.
Maybe it'll come back to me before.
Oh my god, that fucking. And it was grown from our friend over in the UK. That he was the breeder of that, and we had him on the show a bunch of times. Oh my god. One of the new tasty strains flying off the shelf though, and we happily actually know a grower that grows this strain. And he's local, everybody. And we're smoking his stuff right now. Guess what this strain is? You ready? And you really like this strain. Orange Push Pop.
Mm-hmm. That's not what you were trying to think of a minute ago.
No.
But Orange Push Pop.
Orange Push Pop. And our friends Ralph Wiley are masters of growing this fucking strain. So you need to all go look up Ralph Wiley on Instagram. I think it's at Ralph Wiley, right? And I don't think it's any spaces or anything like that. At Ralph Wiley, and find out where they're going to be at, and get yourself some of this orange push pop for the summer, and you will not fucking regret what Mr. and Mrs. Weedman just told you. It's also known to have, also known as Emergency and as exhilarating strain, brought to you by the masters and breeders of Seed Junkie, which I think that's where Ralph Wiley got their seeds from. And I think that, like I said, I haven't tried Seed Junkies grow, but I tell you what. Ralph Wiley, with its lineage rooted in orange push-up crossed with classic sherbet strain, these strains set the bar high for aromatic and flavorful experiences. Orange Push Pop is as visually appealing as it is flavorful. Orange Push Pop has the sweet, juicy orange smell, which is hard to resist, and a hint of creaminess. It is similar to the orange creamsicle. Whether you're a seasoned user or just exploring the scene, the citrus wave offers a delicious way to enjoy cannabis with seasonal twist. Keep your eye on orange. It's more than a flavor. It's the summer statement strain.
It's gonna drive me crazy.
I know
the name of that. Was it peach? Something?
No.
It was orange.
I have peachy keen. No, I'm gonna look the episode when we had him on while you were.
That's what I was looking for too.
I'll go to Spotify while you're doing this next one. So let me introduce her. 2 things you really like in this world.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite drink?
Coffee.
And what do you like a little splash of in the morning?
Some weed on a weekend.
There you go. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman. Everybody, I'm gonna go on my phone. I never do during a show, but I am gonna.
You're trying to research something.
I got to research this and find. This is drive Mr. and Mrs. Weedman crazy.
A new wellness trend combines people's love of iced coffee and their desire to relax and be productive. The new thing is iced coffee with a splash of cannabis and CBD. For millennials juggling work, wellness, and the need to unwind, the new ritual is gaining traction, sipping iced coffee with a side of cannabis or CBD. This dynamic duo isn't just trendy. This is also called a Seattle speedball. It's a thoughtful pairing designed to help you stay focused, centered, and chill. Whether you're powering through deadlines, easing into a self-care moment, or vibing out after a long day, iced coffee and cannabis or CBD offer a balance that fits today's fast-paced yet mindful lifestyle. Cold brew or iced lattes have become more than just a caffeine fix. They're a cultural staple. Smooth, refreshing, and easy on the stomach, iced coffee delivers the energy boost millennials crave without the jitters. Pair it with a low-dose sativa or a microdose of THC, and you've got a productivity hack that helps sharpen focus while keeping creativity flowing. If cannabis isn't your thing for work hours, CBD can step in. Known for its calming, non-psychoactive properties, CBD pairs beautifully with iced coffee. It helps smooth out caffeine's edgy effects, offering alertness and calm, perfect for meetings, brainstorming sessions, or a solo deep work zone. Millennials are redefining wellness with routines that prioritize both performance and mental health. Adding CBD to your iced coffee can support stress management and help with anxiety without sedation. CBD's anti-inflammatory properties may even help with post-workout recovery or those long laptop marathons. Cannabis, when used mindfully, can enhance this wellness angle. Hybrid or indica strains in low doses can promote relaxation, enhance mood, and help your body truly unplug. Whether you're doing yoga, journaling, or just taking a mindful break, this combo sets the tone for a balanced well-being. After work, it's all about switching gears. Iced coffee in the evening might seem counterintuitive, but decaf or adaptogen-enhanced options can complete the ritual without disrupting your sleep. Paired with a relaxing cannabis edible or a soothing CBD tincture, you've created an evening ritual that signals it's time to unwind. Today, people are embracing mindful rituals. Iced coffee paired with cannabis or CBD offers a refreshing, balanced experience, one which supports productivity, enhances wellness, and encourages mindful relaxation. Just remember, dosage and intention matter. So start slow, stay hydrated, and savor the synergy. What is it, Mr. Weedman?
I found it.
You got it.
I'm so good.
What was it?
So first I'm going to tell you the breeder grower.
Okay.
I got the strain from Big Earl, but Big Earl got the seeds from Trichome Seed Jungle. And the strain is called Orange
Soul. Yes, Orange Soul.
That fucking strain.
That was good. Smelled like summertime.
It smelled like orange blossoms growing in the field.
So
it was the best orange. And I tell you what, Orange Push Pop is great. I love those guys. They're fucking amazing. But this Orange Soul that Trichome Seed Jungle made hit different, smelled. I would just go to the jar just to open it all the time. And just, I'd be like, and I think I would bring you the jar too to smell it. That fucking strain, the orangeness of that, it was just fucking, it was just masterful. The esters coming out of that, just the fruity esters, just, you couldn't, it just was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is not weed. I'm eating this, kind of strain. So yes, check out Orange Push Pop by Ralph Wiley. And if he still has seeds of it, go to Trichome Jungle Seeds. He's over in the UK, was in Spain for a while, went back to the UK, and see if he's still got packs of those. And I highly suggest you fucking grow that strain. I'm telling you right now, you will not, if you grow it right, your house would smell like orange blossoms every day. Political, state, and business news. Rep. LaShawn Ford ain't playing. He's kicking off statewide tour to push regulations for Delta 8 in Illinois. No more mystery carts. No more kids buying at gas stations. He's calling for age limits, safety rules, and a fair shot for minority-owned hemp businesses. Hey, Kentucky, y'all ready to grow? Governor Andy Bashar just said medical marijuana growers will be putting seeds in the ground really soon. That's right. Legal cannabis has taken root in the bluegrass state. He's promising product by early 2025, and licenses are already rolling out. Feels good to see more states joining the green wave. Let's grow it right, Kentucky. Nice and slow and full of love. Let's go. But here's Kentucky, another one. Kentucky cannabis drama. A crew of med marijuana companies just sued, calling the state's rollout unconstitutional. They say patients using canna for opioid recovery, IBS, and bipolar are being treated like criminals. And that's straight up absurd. These folks want access, no arrest, demanding legal relief under Kentucky's Privacy and Liberty Acts. Smoke the legislation, not the patients. Stay tuned. This court battle is about freedom, fairness, and flower. Puff on that. Virginia, moving slow but steady. This week, the new Virginia Cannabis Commission meets to craft rules on retail weed, licensing, taxes, product safety, paraphernalia, and equality plans. They've got until mid-2028 to prep for post-Yokin world when the next governor could greenlight sales. It's public, it's bipartisan, and it's shaping how Virginians hit legal shelves. Watch the space. Retail's on the horizon. Congress, time to wake up. Us on the up-dead urges lawmakers to create a federal pathway for medical cannabis access, not just adult-use buzz. Right now, the Rohrabacher FAR protections expire yearly. I totally blustered that name. I can't pronounce it. Rohrabacher, Bachenberger, Frickenbacher. FAR protections expire yearly, and Trump's FY 2026 budget drops them, leaving patients at risk. More than 6 million Americans rely on the state's programs for pain, PTSD, chemo relief, yet they're stuck in patchwork mess. Families need stable medicine, not stoner politics. Puff, puff, pass, and pressure Congress, fam. Nebraska is hitting a regulatory snag. Governor Jim Pillen just approved emergency rules to license med marijuana by October 1st. But this is sounding like Alabama. But he banned flower access and only suppositories. No, I'm just kidding. Limiting patients to pills, oils, and creams and suppositories. Critics say the files in the face of the law Nebraskans voted for and denies patients whole plant relief. It's a jack move, folks. Patients voted for flower. Don't throttle that plant, Nebraska. New Mexico stepping it up, hiring legit weed cops to crack down on illegal pot. Under HB 10, the state will hire a chief plus up to 6 certified officers to enforce cannabis laws, track seed-to-sale data, and bust scofflaws driving the black market. With $1.7 billion in adult use in medical cannabis sales, regulatory say it's time to add muscle and protect legit businesses. Let's smoke out the shady growers, not the good ones. Check this. Standard Seed Corp just launched a wild AI-powered platform, Botanical AI Factory, to level up cannabis drug discovery. They're mapping millions of proteins, significantly proving the long-debated entourage effect. Cutting time and cost for new cannabis meds? It's just weed. It's big data, mace, bud. Tracking hundreds of compounds and how they interact in the body. Science nerds gonna love it. Stoners benefit from results. Future's looking smart and dank. Gotta wear shades. That song is great. Future's so bright.
Gotta wear shades.
Gotta wear shades. Cannabis cash is climbing. In June, 15 states hit $2.2 billion for up 7.4% year over year, even though the month over month dipped 0.9%, but per day soared 2.5%. Math flex, baby. And I don't even know numbers. Western states mostly dipped except Oregon. Eastern states saw a wild 945% spike. Thanks to New York. Don't go crazy. That's New York. To new adult use rollout. That's some serious green growth. Proof that the legal market is still boss. Let's keep riding the wave. Alabama just hit the hemp industry with a curveball. On July 1st, which was last week, House Bill 445 bans all smokable hemp products. Yep, no more vapes, joints, or flowers. It also slaps a 10% excise tax on consumables and limits THC to 10 milligrams per serving. Critics say this could wipe out 2,000 jobs and leave patients in the lurch. Small business owners are calling regulation, not eradication. Stay tuned. This is heating up. Now over to you, Mrs. Weedman. I'm passing the doink over to you.
All right. More political, state, and business news. Florida is on the move. The Smart and Safe Florida campaign has already collected nearly 70% of the valid signatures needed to put legalization initiative on the 2026 ballot. That's over 880,000 signatures and counting. They're aiming for a more inclusive and equitable proposal this time around. So that's positive. New Jersey's cannabis market is underachieving despite its prime location and high income. With only 50 cultivators, prices are steep at $10 per gram, and 71% of towns have opted out.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Even with $1.3 billion in projected sales, the illicit market thrives.
That's 50 cultivators.
Yeah, 50 in the whole state.
Not talking about dispensaries, just cultivators pushing out to be able to do 1.3 billion in sales. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Governor Murphy's proposed tax hike could make it worse, though. If Jersey wants to reach its potential, it is time to support licensed businesses and ditch the red tape. Let's grow, Garden State. Yep, you heard me right. That is their name, the Garden State. But they can't figure out this garden, can they? No. Massachusetts.
$1.3 billion, though.
Yeah. Massachusetts is about to light up the lounge scene. The Cannabis Control Commission is on track to finalize social consumption lounge regulations by October of 2025. They're accepting public comments and holding hearings through early September. Once approved, communities will need to opt in, and the CCC will issue licenses. Acting Chair Bruce Stebbins says, "We're making great progress. Get ready for a whole new way to vibe with your favorite strains." I wonder if it'll, once a state gets this figured out, hopefully other states will follow.
But that's the problem.
They don't.
They can't figure it out.
Right.
States don't know how to run business.
Right.
They barely can run the government. They're trying to run businesses. They're terrible.
Wisconsin's GOP just hit pause on legal weed again. The state Senate and Assembly shot down amendments to the future budget that would have legalized cannabis for medical and recreational use. Democrats, led by Senator Dianne Hasselbeck, and Republican Lee Snodgrass, I think we've talked about Snodgrass before, pushed for reform, but Republicans voted it down 18-15 in the Senate and 53-45 in the Assembly. Governor Evers says if Democrats control the legislature, we can finally legalize marijuana.
Hey, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah.
The snods grass tastes like snods grass.
Cannabis banking reform is on pause. Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon says the Safer Banking Act is stalled due to budget issues and global conflicts. The bill, which passed a Senate committee last year, would shield banks from federal penalties for working with state legal cannabis businesses. Merkley remains hopeful, stating, "We've tried to schedule several meetings, but things like war and reconciliation have distracted from the marijuana banking legislation." The Pentagon is under fire. A DoD contractor just sued, claiming questions about past cannabis use during a security clearance process violate his Fifth Amendment rights. The lawsuit argues that such inquiries force individuals to incriminate themselves, a constitutional no-no. This case could set a precedent for how the government handles cannabis-related questions in federal employment screenings. Stay tuned. This one's got major implications for both civil liberties and the cannabis industry. Delaware, they're about to light it up. Starting August 1, recreational cannabis is officially on the shelves. All medical dispensaries have converted to adult use, so you can grab your goods at over 10 dispensary locations across the state. Just remember, it's still medical. Dispensaries doing the honors. No new shops yet, but hey, it's a start. So get ready to elevate, Delaware. Workplaces are catching up with cannabis culture in states like California. It's illegal for employers to ask about off-duty cannabis use or conduct hair and urine tests unless you're in construction or federal roles. But in places like Idaho and Wyoming, marijuana is still a felony. Surprisingly, nearly 40% of marijuana users report working while high weekly. Employers, they're still figuring out how to handle this green wave. Stay tuned. Workplace cannabis policies are evolving fast. Oregon, the courts just dropped a privacy bomb. The state's Court of Appeals ruled that the Oregon State Police illegally used aerial surveillance without a warrant to bust a suspected grow operation, caught from a plane 5,000 feet up with enhanced cameras. They said tech that sees what the naked eye can't is off limits without a warrant. Civil rights advocates are celebrating because privacy still matters. Stay tuned for how this reshapes weed busts from the sky. Pretty cool. Well, how come they can do it from if they're in a helicopter or a plane, they spot grows like up in the mountains and they shoot them, like they come down. Judge
gives them papers.
Yeah. Big news for veterans. The House just approved the Veterans Equal Access Act, letting VA doctors discuss medical cannabis in states where it's legal. No more hush-hush compliance. This amendment to the fiscal 2026 VA budget also bans the VA from blocking vets joining state programs. That is amazing. Plus, there's an added bonus. They're planning for future psychedelic-assisted therapy. Talk about healing options expanding. Cheers to choice and better, more natural care. All right, Mr. Weedman, on to you.
Thank you. Rhode Island expanding the medical cannabis game. The Cannabis Control Commission just blasted open applications for new Compassion Center up north, covering Burrville, Cumberland, Gloucester, North Smithfield, and Woonsocket. After the original plan fell through, they reopened the 2021 pool with submissions due by September 18th. Prospective operators got to meet updated rules, zoning, safety, and prep for operation. Zone 1, get ready for shine. Watch the north of Rhode Island light up Compassion style. Get this. New survey in Iowa says cannabis users are smashing the lazy stoner stereotypes. These folks, middle America adults, working jobs, owning homes, voting, paying taxes, and being active in their communities. Hey, it sounds kind of familiar with a lot of people we know. And Iowa is not even legal, recreational, and they have a terrible medical program. I'm sorry, you do. I love you, and I hope one day you get better medical program. The Des Moines data dropped across 43 markets, showing 24% of adults used weed last month. And they're anything but couch potatoes. So much for slacker myth. Cannabis consumers are chill and civic-minded. Stay fired up, stay involved. Iowa, let's go. Michigan branch, Hillsdale St. Joseph Health Agency just dropped a free lockup safety bags to keep THC out of kids' hands and pets. Hands, zipper class, padlock style. We're nearly 400 toddler incidents last year. This ain't no joke. Edibles look like candy and taste like candy. Double trouble if you don't lock them up. So lock it up, talk it, and protect the little ones. Safe sesh equals smart sesh. Listen, just like alcohol, cannabis is legal in your state. And even if it's not legal in your state, or if it's medical, you need to start talking to your kids about it. Let them know this is mommy and daddy's medicine. Do not touch. Store it in a box. Mm-hmm. You know? Miss Weedman's got a great article later on. She'll talk about more about that. Big blow for DUI justice in Illinois. UIC's forensic testing lab flagged faulty THC DUI test. They couldn't even tell Delta 9 from Delta 8, jeopardizing over 100 cannabis DUI cases in Chicagoland. Hay paused human testing in February 2024. And some counties are already tossing shaky cases. Critics call it fraudulent science, while UIC tries to cover ground. Looks like the cannabis struggle isn't just legal. It's a lab mess, too. Former Rep. Earl Blumauer, founder of the Congressional Cannabis Caucus, says he's more than a little concerned about the Trump-era stall in marijuana reform. Bipartisan momentum's fizzling. GOP support is thin, and even cannabis caucus meetings are ghosting. Hey, thinking of hitting a good road to rekindle the spark? But until someone steps up, federal reform is kind of stuck in limbo. Let's hope we can get this sparked up in green revival in fucking the Senate, Congress. Somebody, man. Speak up. Dun, dun, dun. Mr. Weedman gonna have to take out the costume and go to Capitol Hill. Stand on there and legalize it. We should take a ride there one day and do that. It'd be fucking amazing. We did that at the Bean. Remember? That was great. Colorado cannabis labels just got called out. Nearly half of the flower products overstating THC content after CU Boulder study tested 277 samples across 52 dispensaries. The issue? Lab hype to drive sales, especially for flower. While concentrates score high on accuracy, researchers say labels should flex more cannabinoids like CBG and CBGA and other cannabinoids. So next time you spark up, know you're really puffing. Stay informed to blaze smart. Ohio's cannabis market is hitting a wall. Prices are sky high, up 200%, and heavy local bans plus limited marketing are stunting growth. With pricey weed driving consumers across the border to where? Michigan, where you can get an ounce for $25. You can get 200 milligram edibles for $4. And more than 100 municipalities opting out. Legal shops are getting squeezed. The workforce is stuck too. Low wages, political headwinds, and slow rollout are killing momentum. Let's fucking Ohio, man. Come on now. Do it right and don't fuck it up. July 9th, 2025, which is actually, we're recording on July 8th. This episode will come out on July 10th on a really good day. We'll talk about that in a minute, in a little bit. But July 9th, 2025 marks 50 years since California's Moscone Act decriminalized marijuana, cutting penalties for an ounce of weed to a simple $100 citation and slashing felony arrests by 80%. The law saved folks from criminal records and cleared past convictions. California's NORML throwing a celebratory sesh at the State Fair's cannabis exhibit mid-July, 50 years deep, and we're still lighting up Congress. Cheers to that, Cali. And in that, let's light up a joint and cheers of that 50 years before we move on to the next. Right. Yeah, let's light up a little celebration. Also this week, when we launch this episode, it'll be 7/10. It is a national concentrate holiday here. So we have 420 and then there's 7/10, hash holiday. So get your hash hole, get your donuts, get your hash rosin, get your pressed, get your whatever you like to smoke hash wise. Whatever you like to smoke it out of, rigs, pens, Puffco, whatever, vaporizers, whatever.
What's the cream? Hash rules every...
Yeah, harem. Hash rules everything around me.
Around me, yeah.
Concentrate, y'all. Yeah, so 7/10. I know what shirt I'm wearing on that day too.
I know what shirt you're wearing.
You know?
Toasty.
That's it. Shout out to our friend Toasty. I'll be walking around in his fucking dope ass shirt. Ooh, that was a good hit. Ooh. So here's to California. Salute. A little joint for you. 50 years. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Mr. Weedman.
Thank you, Mrs. Weedman, for lighting that doink. So I am in the weed industry. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to tell you stories. If you want to talk to me about the weed industry, I'll do it off air. If you ever want to reach out and see me on the streets slinging, I'm out there every day. I've been doing it for a long time on the traditional market side of things and the legal market. And if you're thinking about joining the weed industry, I'm going to let Mrs. Weedman, from a non-biased perspective, but lives with somebody who sells recreational cannabis and medical cannabis. Mrs. Weedman is also in the cannabis industry. She sells accessories and has a brand called 8 Decades. And it's not easy to start a brand, especially when you don't have no marketing dollars, because you put all your money to product.
I think the industry is harder than building a product.
Right.
It definitely makes it more difficult.
Creating the product wasn't that bad. Building a brand is not easy without a lot of dollars and cents behind it. Like if you got $1 million budget, you can make any fucking brand move. But if you got one person running the whole company and no marketing budget, just word of mouth, guerrilla marketing, takes a little longer. Not saying it doesn't work, but instead of putting $1 million budget behind something and being able to do it in 2 years, guerrilla marketing takes 4 to 5 to 6 years because it's one person at a time. One person at a time. One person at a time. So that's Mrs. Weedman's experience in the weed industry a little bit. I have many stories, but I will not share. If you want to talk to me off air.
You shared my story, but you won't share your own.
Yeah.
What the heck, Mr.
Because
Weedman?
I still work in the industry.
So do I.
Yeah, but you're self-employed. You can't fire yourself.
I wish I could.
That's the difference. When you're self-employed, 1099, and you own your own company, you could tell yourself to go fuck off, and then you could fire yourself if you wanted to, but then you hire yourself.
And then you got to go back to work the next day.
There's Mrs. Weedman's life every day. Yeah. My life is I work for companies. And I've worked for nothing but good companies. I won't say anything bad about any of the companies I worked for. I've worked for good companies. They pay my bills. Right? So, and they treat you fair. So, but if you're thinking of joining the weed industry, Mrs. Weedman's going to read something to you here and talk a little bit about it. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yes, this is a first-person story. The author is Alex Boone. So he writes, in 2022, my company, SWM International, made a decision that would have been unthinkable just a few years earlier. We entered the cannabis industry. We knew that was risky. SWM is a 400-year-old international paper company with deep roots in tobacco-adjacent products, a legacy company steeped in tradition, now planning to make inroads into a highly regulated and controversial market. But we were excited about the opportunity. We saw a chance to bridge our centuries of expertise in natural fibers and specialty paper manufacturing with an emerging industry hungry for innovation. Branding our new division, Botany, a play on botanicals, we leverage our experience in paper and natural fiber technology to develop groundbreaking hemp and botanical products. As managing director, I now find myself at the intersection of tradition and innovation, navigating the complexities of a $30 billion industry that barely existed a decade ago. Botany's foray into cannabis has come with challenges and wrinkles, but the wins have outweighed the losses. We're in it for the long haul. Hopefully, our experience offers a roadmap for other companies considering this green rush. If you're considering getting into cannabis space, here are some suggestions. Recognize your unique value. Before diving headfirst into cannabis, be sure to take stock of your company's core competencies. Ask yourself, what unique skills or resources can your company bring to this new market? Perhaps you have expertise in packaging, distribution, or brand building. Whatever the case, identifying your right to play is crucial for a successful entry. Several big pharma companies have brought years of scientific and research experience into exploring the medical applications of cannabis, and so-called pick and axe companies have provided essential tools and processes. In Botany's case, centuries of experience in paper manufacturing translated into a production of premium hemp wraps and rolling papers. As we approached this new venture, we knew the needs of our customers were far different from major tobacco companies, but we also had a lot to offer because of our experience and legacy papermaking. Working with big and small companies and using market trends to dictate what we need to make on our machines. First, we launched Botany as a market brand of SWM International, despite the cachet of our parent company. It allowed Botany to foster its own image and identity. By creating a distinct brand, we established credibility in the cannabis community, free from other associations. Second, this structure provided the flexibility to experiment with new products and strategies while benefiting from corporate resources and expertise. We could be nimble in places where it would be otherwise impossible. Third, we needed to protect our parent company from the unforeseen obstacles of this new industry. Ultimately, this balanced approach allowed us to leverage our legacy strengths while developing the specialization needed to succeed in the cannabis market. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The maze of state and federal regulations governing cannabis is complex, ever-changing, and often difficult to navigate. Cannabis operates in a unique regulatory environment, legal in many states, yet illegal federally. This creates a patchwork of regulations varying not just between states, but often between cities. We've been living with regulations around tobacco for a long time, but some of the regulations in cannabis are much more rigid. And compliance isn't just following rules, it's anticipating changes. Regulations can shift overnight, requiring quick adaptations. This demands constant vigilance, and having a dedicated team of legal and compliance experts is essential to interpret laws, anticipate the changes, and navigate potential pitfalls. For companies used to settled regulatory environments, this is challenging, but it's also an opportunity. Mastering this regulatory maze provides a significant competitive advantage in the cannabis industry. In tobacco, brand loyalty reigns supreme. Consumers stick with one product for a long time, but cannabis consumers crave novelty. And for this reason, we've had to rethink our approach to product development, shifting from long-term planning to rapid prototyping and iteration. In the beginning, we thought we could make 1 or 2 wraps and be done with it. Not the case. We've changed colors, weights, botanicals, just to keep up with the demand for new products. The cannabis industry doesn't follow traditional growth trajectories of established markets. Therefore, you must temper not only internal expectations, but also those of the parent company, who may be used to different timetables and outcomes. I compare this to my past experience selling wine. We had 2 customers, the retail side and the restaurant side. The retail sold cases. I sold bottles. Big tobacco sells cases. Cannabis sells bottles. A big corporation is used to thinking that everything's going to hockey stick immediately, but cannabis is different. In a rapidly evolving market like cannabis, not every product will be a winner. We've had to make tough decisions to discontinue certain lines when market conditions shifted unexpectedly. This ability to fail fast has been crucial to our success. For instance, when smokable hemp flower became all the rage, we were ready to put big money into it and create in-house processes that would allow for further scaling. However, we quickly realized that our first few customers weren't expanding as rapidly as they initially projected. While initial oversupply in the hemp market led to price adjustments, farmers later optimized their planting, helping stabilize the market. This allowed us to take a measured approach to scaling while maintaining our commitment to the sector. Faced with these changing market conditions, we had to make a swift decision to scale back investment into this particular product line. This quick pivot allowed us to reallocate resources to more promising opportunities. As we continue to navigate this new terrain, one thing has become clear. The cannabis industry represents more than just a new market opportunity. It's a catalyst for innovation, forcing established companies to rethink fundamental aspects of their business. For those willing to embrace this challenge, the rewards can be significant. But success requires more than just capital and expertise. It demands a willingness to learn, adapt, and sometimes completely reinvent oneself. So don't expect to have a hockey stick of sales right away, but do expect a learning curve. Yeah.
I say this to a lot of dispensary owners that I've met, especially with the first day they open. A lot of them, I think they're going to be
busy,
and be rolling in dough. Mm-hmm. And I explained to them it doesn't work that way anymore. You're one of 250 and growing, 260 and growing. That's just in Illinois.
Right.
Other states like Michigan, 730 just closed down, so that tells you something. California, 900 and something. They were at 1,200, I think, at one time. If you live in Oklahoma, there was 8,200, 2,500 at one time. How do you make money when, let's say, your state only has 500,000 weed smokers, and you have, just say that 500,000, 500,000 people smoke weed. Maybe not every day. They don't buy every day. Some people buy, like, they're going to the liquor store. They buy a 6-pack on the weekends. Mm-hmm. Your state's doing $1.6 billion. I'm talking about Illinois last year, okay? As more competition, more stores open up like liquor stores, where there used to maybe be one liquor store in that town. Now there's 3. Competition gets fierce. Sales prices, more and more heavy sales, giving product away, getting people in your store, and all you're doing is training the people to be sales shoppers. So if your store doesn't have this product that I like a lot at this location, but this store does this week, I'm going to go there and get it for 30% off. I'm going to go there and get the BOGO. And I'm going to go there and get the buy 2 for 20. And I'm going to go there and get this flower because you don't carry it. But then I'm going to get this and this because their sales are better this week. And boom, boom, boom. Now you just train that person to do what?
Just shop where the prices are best.
Never be loyal to that store.
They won't have a neighborhood store.
No. Done. Those days in Illinois, unless you're like in the rural areas where you don't need 4 or 3, you're done. An owner opens up, I'm the best store, I have everything. Okay, so does the next store right next door. That same as liquor stores. That person has a 12-pack of High Life, and this person has a 12-pack of High Life. It might be the same price, and they might do some sales. So you might go to that store because you're loyal to that store, and they have that price at all the time. Not in the dispensary world anymore. Shit's fucking crazy. So you don't ever build a loyal customer base, first and foremost. So what you do is you train the consumer to become sales shoppers. Instead of charging an everyday regular price, a fair price, people will become loyal to your store, and they'll stick with your store. Instead, you got people now thinking their store is going to make $1 million the first month they're open, and understanding that they haven't done anything to develop clientele. They just think you open the doors, 100 people a day are going to come to your store. No. You might get 2 or 3 people a day, 5 people a day. And as you build through the community and you do a lot of work, like we just talked about, you have to spend money on your marketing in the dispensary world, supporting the community around you, going to different events that the community is running, be a part of donating to different schools or whatever you can donate to. One dispensary is doing adoption, a kitten adoption. You have to do different things to build your community. Mm-hmm. Instead of training them just to come to your store for sales. You have to build a loyal client base that's going to earn you anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 a day to make money in this industry. If you could do that, that's going to take you a year to develop that clientele. I tell everybody to build the foundation. To build the house, you have to have a solid foundation with no cracks. And if you build a solid foundation, the house that you build on top of it will stay strong, and you'll have a business for 25 years, and you could sell when you're ready to retire and take that money and go live on a fucking island somewhere, and you'll be just fine. And give it to the next person to make money on that for 25 years. That is my vision and what I think about all the time about this cannabis industry. How foolish we become in this industry to make so little money and build no customer loyalty and build no long-standing business. You can't survive. Listen, a huge company in Michigan just closed 30 stores down They own 30 stores, not one store, or not close 5 stores. Not let's just close our lowest income generating stores. No, I'm going to close all 30, and now about 500 people are out of work, and I can't afford to be in this state because it's absolutely ridiculous when you're selling gummies for $4 for 200 milligrams.
And you feel bad for that person
I
because
feel
they
so bad
spent
for everything.
millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars to set up all of those stores. Maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to set up 30 stores.
Yeah. I have a lot of knowledge in this industry.
It requires a lot.
I do. I
to
see
open
a lot.
store.
It takes a lot of money. It takes anywhere between, if you're going to rent, you're going to get raped.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be walking around with toilet paper a lot because your butt's going to hurt. And
there's a lot of overhead.
And then if you decide to buy a building or build a building from the ground up, I've seen places do that. Man, you're talking anywhere between $1 million to $5 to $7 million to get a place up and running. And that's not including buying your inventory, right. Which is going to cost you some money.
You have to be really like heavily staffed,
right?
And then you maybe you're having, a handful of sales a day, and you've got 10 people working full time every day. You have to have security.
Labor cost kills you.
You have to have a security person.
Yep.
You have to have an ID checker. You have to have at least 1 to 2 bud tenders. There has to be an inventory person,
2
manager, right? You're not working these businesses they're very difficult.
Yeah. Not easy to run a fucking dispensary. Yeah. Not easy to run cultivation either. Oh my God, you're talking, if you're just a craft grow, minimum is 10 mil for the 5,000 square feet minimum.
Just to get the license.
And then you got to hire people that know what the fuck they're doing in the grow.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a lot, and then you got to hire all your everything else outside the grow rooms. You got to hire trimmers, baggers, makers, whatever. I mean, it's a lot of money to earn very little in the beginning. It's not easy.
It takes a very deep pocket to stay afloat while the business builds between
and then
permitting to opening the door all the way to maybe year 3 when you start being profitable.
5 if you're lucky.
Yeah. You have to have cash flow.
Yeah. And think about how much money you spend marketing. Then you got to hire a sales team in cultivation to sell all your products. And you pay them a salary plus commission. And you're paying fucking your accountant. And then you're paying your lawyers. And then you're trying to pay yourself.
It can only go so far.
And you might have 5 partners in the beginning because that's what it took to get the thing up and running. Everyone threw in whatever they could. Yeah, whatever they could. So you have 10 investors sometimes in some of these fucking companies. It's fucking crazy. And then what do some of these companies do?
You're getting 2 nickels at the end of the month.
Right. And then what do some of these companies do? They decide to go on the stock exchange and sell shares to earn money to be able to build more. And then you don't own the company at all. The shareholders own the company.
That is, in a sense, corporate greed. Like, why did they need 30 licenses, right?
Yeah.
So maybe if they had gone in and gotten 10 and let 20 other business owners have some opportunity, maybe with 10, they'd be able to ride out this mess for another 5 years.
They just pulled the fuck right out. See ya. Well, it was cheaper to pull out than to stay in.
They shouldn't have been so big. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
In such a industry that is just such a mess. Why would you go so big? There's so much risk.
Right.
So much risk.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's just from me, little person who has no idea how these businesses function, but that's...
You hear from me and you've read enough.
Well, I mean, yes. Okay. Yeah.
And you've done more. Yeah. You started your own business.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. You were getting at a point.
I don't know. It's okay, Mr. Weedman.
No, but it does take a lot. And you know how much it took.
Yeah.
That's the biggie right there. You did 90% of the work to get that fucking business started. And you know how much it took. And
that's nothing compared to what these dispensaries and
cultivation.
Yeah. And one of many people. I mean, there's people all over the world trying to do businesses, but this is just the cannabis industry has all of its own difficulties.
Right.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I think we're really stoned right now.
That's why I haven't gone on yet. That's why I'm just rambling right now.
We're rambling because we're so stoned.
Yeah. Oh, I'm high.
Yeah.
That butt is fucking
really
international
like,
news.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on. Oh my gosh, we got stuck. We got stuck.
We got lost in the sauce, everybody.
We got stuck.
That's when I cut you off there for a second by accident because I was getting ready to move on. Sorry, I did cut you off.
It's
though.
okay.
My bad. Big moves in the Caribbean. Grenada's government is pushing to amend its marijuana laws. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell announced plans to decriminalize cannabis for recreational, religious, and medical use. With restrictions like no public smoking and minimum age of 21, the goal to establish medicinal industry, support religious practices, and expunge past convictions for small personal use. Stay tuned. Grenada takes steps towards a greener future. Big news out of Scotland. Police raided a former college in Kirkcaldy and uncovered 5,000 cannabis plants worth nearly 12 million euros. Or pounds, making it Scotland's largest cannabis haul. The operation was highly organized with sophisticated equipment and living quarters for workers. Authorities are treating this like a major blow to organized crime. Stay tuned as the investigations unfolds. Now, Mr. Weedman heard that Scotland Yard sent out their finest for this. Sherlock Holmes and Watson. Kronos Group is expanding distribution with its Peace Naturals Medicine cannabis brand in Swiss market through a partnership with Driscoll Pharma AG, a Swiss-based company specializing in the supply and distribution of medical cannabis and healthcare training. Big news from the UK. The Food Standard Agency just dropped updated guidance on CBD and THC. While the 10 milligram daily intake for CBD remains advisory, it's not mandatory. However, if your CBD product contains more than 1 milligram of THC per container, you'll need a cannabis derivative license. This move aims to streamline the approval process and help businesses stay compliant. So if you're in the CBD game, time to check those labels and ensure you're in the clear. New Zealand's cannabis scene is lit, just not for the locals. Puro Albumin-based grower just inked a $16 million export deal with the UK, but they are not selling to Kiwis. Why? Domestic rules are a maze. Cultivating, manufacturing, and selling each need separate licenses, and products often require extra processing before reaching pharmacies. Even exporting involves detours through Australia. Tim Alders of Puro says 1 year in the industry feels like 7. The Ministry of Regulation. I've heard that a few times. The Ministry of Regulation is reviewing the red tape, but it changed slow. So while Kiwis can't get their hands on local products, the world's getting a taste of New Zealand grown green. Isn't that weird? Oh, man. Big news from the Czech Republic. They just passed a bill to legalize home cultivation and simple possession of marijuana, plus all psilocybin for medical use. The bill is now on its way to the president's desk for approval. Signed, it could make Czech Republic one of the first EU countries to fully embrace cannabis reform. Big drama unfolding. 18-year-old Bella May Cully, a pregnant British student, was arrested in Georgia. I don't think the state of Georgia. I think Georgia the country. Yes. Worth 200,000 pounds worth of cannabis in her luggage. She claims she was tortured and coerced by a Thai drug gang, even shown a scar in court. However, Thai police deny her allegations, pointing to the CCTV footage of her calmly passing through the airport control. Clammy. Yeah, she probably. I would be a little clammy. Yeah. Her trial is set for July 10th. Stay tuned. The number of women using medicinal cannabis is growing in New Zealand and overseas. The use of cannabis treatment for general conditions such as pain, anxiety, inflammation, and nausea, as well as genealogical conditions, including endometriosis, pelvic floor conditions, and menopause. A recent study reveals that while more women are turning to medical cannabis, many face barriers like high cost, limited access, and stigma. These challenges often push them into illegal markets. Experts suggest that addressing these issues can improve access to safety for female patients. Advocates are calling for policy changes to ensure equitable access to medical cannabis for all. Stay tuned for more updates on these important issues. That was international news, everybody. Would you tell your kids if you worked at a dispensary?
Yeah. I mean, yes. But I think that there could be some repercussion. I maybe not. I don't know. I'm so high right now. All right, I'm just going to stick to the article. I don't even know. But yes, I wouldn't.
This mom, though.
I wouldn't lie to my kids about where I worked, and I would just have, like we talked to our kids about a lot of things when they were young. Right. I would have talked to them about where I worked.
Yeah, I would have told them too.
Yeah.
So yes, this mom's kids know she works at a dispensary.
Yeah. So this is how this mom talks about it and how she's always been open about her cannabis use. In New York, where I live, cannabis is now as easy to find as a latte. Dispensaries line the street like coffee shops. For many moms I know, myself included, it's become a valuable tool for managing anxiety, chronic pain, insomnia, and the mental load of parenting. And yeah, recreationally, it's great too. But when it comes to talking to our kids about it, the conversation often feels fraught with uncertainty and discomfort. Although I've become more open about my cannabis use over the years, starting a part-time job at a neighborhood dispensary pushed me to become more intentional. I realized I'd need to explain my job to my children and be ready for their questions. Many of our customers are parents wrestling with the same concerns. So, as cannabis becomes more visible and accepted, how do we talk to our kids about our own use? How do we balance honesty with boundaries without resorting to secrecy or oversharing? My older children, ages 12 and 10, know where I work, but I haven't yet had a deeper conversation with them about it. I've explained that I help educate people about and sell products made from the cannabis plant, and that these products are intended for adult use only. Wanting to be prepared for future questions, especially from my youngest, who's almost 4, I reached out to a few experts to get their perspectives. Christy Palmer, co-founder and president of Kiva Confections, takes a straightforward approach with her own kids, much like many parents do with alcohol. She stores cannabis high up in a locked container and teaches her kids, ages 5, 3, and 1, to recognize the packaging and warning labels. She even reads the regulatory language in a technical, boring way that they don't want to listen to, which helps eliminate curiosity. She also uses humor and basic science with her kids. Your brain is still growing and becoming smarter every day, and we don't want to slow that down. The goal, she says, is just enough information to satisfy their questions without piquing unnecessary interest. Indeed, children interpret adult cannabis use differently depending on their developmental stage, according to Dr. Sanam Hafiz, neuropsychologist and director of Comprehend the Mind. Toddlers might notice changes in smell, behavior, or routine, but they don't have the cognitive tools to make sense of what's happening. It registers as a sensory experience, not a moral or health issue. Kids in elementary school, for instance, are more inquisitive and influenced by their uneasy peers and the media, and may feel uneasy if what they observe contradicts what they've learned about health or safety. Here you can use neutral comparisons, like cannabis being just for grown-ups, similar to coffee or certain medicines. Elementary-age children can understand that some things are legal for adults but not safe for kids, especially when the message centers on health and responsibility rather than punishment or shame. Preteens, more aware of social dynamics and pop culture, begin questioning adult choices and benefit most from consistency, honesty, and open dialogue. With preteens, Hafiz advises framing discussions around values and critical thinking. Being honest doesn't mean oversharing, she adds. Just because something is legal doesn't always mean it's healthy or right, and reminds parents to say every family has its own rules. As kids get older, Palmer stresses the importance of discussing product safety and the risks associated with unregulated sources, which can contain synthetic ingredients and who knows what else. Teens are curious, she says. Young adults want to experiment. They are teens. But parents can help by explaining why state-regulated cannabis is safer and why responsibility matters. Kids are smart, she adds, so honor their intelligence by being truthful and matter-of-fact. Palmer models responsible use just as one would with alcohol or screen time. I eat a gummy in front of my kids, she explains. They ask, "Are those the ones for only adults?" "Yes, they are. Let me grab you a gummy that's for kids. Here you go." That openness helps remove stigma and normalize cannabis as a tool, not a taboo. A philosophy that centers on calm, everyday language paired with clear, loving boundaries should be the goal. My job is to keep you safe, she says to her kids, and that means making sure that you know these products aren't for you right now. To that end, Hafiz warns that being too vague about cannabis can lead to kids to fill in the gaps with misinformation or believe the topic is off limits. On the other hand, being overly rigid or moralistic can make them tune out or feel unsafe bringing up their own questions. Parents should also be mindful of their language and attitude. Treating cannabis casually or joking about it can send the message that it's harmless, she notes. Demonstrating care and responsibility helps children learn to treat these topics with the same seriousness. Part of that care and responsibility also means being open to an appropriate point about the reasons why you use cannabis. I've discussed my prescription medications with my kids before, explaining how some help me manage anxiety and my ADHD, and framing it as a tool in my larger toolbox of things I can access to manage my health. Things like eating well, getting enough sleep, exercising, and going to therapy. Palmer suggests keeping the language simple and personal. I might say something like, I'm using cannabis right now because it really helps me with my headaches. I'm so thankful because when I feel good, I can go to all your soccer games and I can cheer super loud for you, she suggests, continuing. When I feel overwhelmed, one cannabis gummy helps turn off the alarm bells that I hear in my head. It's like things become quiet again, and then I can hear and listen to what you have to tell me and be there for you. I truly believe cannabis use can help people lead better lives, says Palmer, but she acknowledges the lingering stigma. Our culture has been deeply influenced by negative rhetoric around cannabis and its consumers for decades. By modeling responsible use, answering questions honestly, and creating space for open dialogue, parents can help shift that narrative. Cannabis use, seen this way, becomes less a secret vice and more of a tool of care, autonomy, and balance. I hope my own experience encourages other parents to talk about it with love, honesty, and care. Yeah, I'm still a weed mom, but now I'm learning how to talk about it too.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good article.
Yeah.
Yeah. The interview
good
too.
Advice.
Yeah, really good advice.
Yeah.
Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
That's the end of the show.
Well, I have to say, tell me the name of this strain again.
That is called Cherry Gar-See-Yah.
I am Cherry Gar-See-Yah.
You are? Yes.
Yeah. And I'm gonna have some more.
Yes. Cherry, Cherry.
Yeah.
Capital GAR SEE YA. Cherry Gar-See-Yah. And we're gonna see ya on the next episode, right, Ms. Weedman?
Yeah, I can't even see so good.
That's have another hit. I love it. Hey, everybody out there in the world, we love you. Thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate you. And go out there and have some fucking fun, will you? And go live some life. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.